three citations. They were issued on March 25th of this year on US 131. They're in Wayland Township, Elgin County. First one is for speeding on an actual 90 and a 70. It was written as a 16 to 20 over. Second citation is violation of seatbelt law. And the third citation is violation of child restraint law. So, Ms. Coulter, you are here on these three citations to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to a citation, or two, you know what? I see Tiara here. I'm just going to let her in. I'm assuming we will just get these done at the same time. And you know what? I'll just wait for Tiara's audio to kick in. Her audio's there. It is. Tiara Coulter, if you could take yourself off mute so that I'd be able to hear you. There you go. All right, and I'll read Tiara's into the record as well. Ms. Tiara Coulter, you have a citation here. It was issued on March 25th of this year on US 131 there in Wayland Township for speeding on an actual 90 and a 70. It was written as a 16 to 20 over. So, ladies, Ms. Coulter and Ms. Coulter, here are your options on your citations. First is you could admit responsibility to a citation, or two, admit a responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened, or three, you wish to contest the citation. In other words, to fight a ticket at what we call informal hearing. I'll ask you one at a time. Tiara, on your speeding citation, what do you wish to do?
You said to fight it.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
And then Miss Melisha, you have three different citations. What do you wish to do on your citations?
I want to fight mine because I actually was not the vehicle that was pulled over. He actually pulled Kiera over.
Ma'am, do you wish to fight all three citations?
Yes.
All right. Then it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the officers. They have the burden to establish to me why you were issued citations. But after that, you'll have the opportunity to either ask questions or testify on your own behalf. And so, deputies, I'm not sure who is going to be testifying. Let's start with Tiara Coulter. But if you want to just pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of the citations.
Yes, Your Honor. Both of these are kind of all the same incident all put together. So if it's okay with you, it's going to be just one big testimony.
That's kind of why I just let everybody in. I assumed, looking at the dates and times, that this was all sort of the same incident. So go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. On March 25th, 2024, around 2:10 in the morning, I was running stationary radar on US 131 at the 67-mile marker. My rear radar activated with solid tone number. A vehicle approaching at 90 miles per hour, and the posted speed limit is 70 miles per hour. Observing in my rear view window, I witnessed two vehicles, two sets of headlights traveling next to each other at that rate of speed.
We were not traveling next to each other.
Ma'am, if you speak again, I'm going to put you in the waiting room and handle your case separately. This is not your turn. It's the deputy's turn. And like I said, when the deputy is finished, you'll be able to either ask questions or testify on your own behalf. Is that clear? Tiara, is that clear? Okay. Because this is audio recorded, I'm assuming you giving the OK symbol means it is clear. All right, Deputy, you want to pick it up?
Yes, Your Honor. After both vehicles passed my stationary location, I switched my radar to my front radar cone, where I picked up the vehicles continuing still 90 and a 70. Both vehicles were front and back to each other, keeping pace with one another. I then pulled out behind the vehicles and began to follow them. I switched my radar to moving radar. The same speed continued. I also paced them. We followed them up to the 62-mile marker due to the fact of them weaving between the lanes, not using blinkers, traveling at a high rate of speed. We called for a second unit prior to initiating the traffic stop just due to the behavior of the vehicles and the time of day at this time. After initiating the traffic stop, both vehicles yielded to the right side of the road. I'm sorry. while pacing them, they fluctuated speed between 85 and 90 miles per hour during that pacing period as well. While they were going between the lanes, there were no cars in front of them that the radar could have picked up either. After we initiated the traffic stop, both vehicles yielded to the right side of the road. The first car directly in front of me was Miss Tierra's vehicle. It was a silver Escape. And then the second vehicle in front of her was Miss Malisha's vehicle, which was a Explorer. Deputy Danville made contact with Miss Tierra, while I made contact with Miss Malisha. I'm sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly.
No, you're fine.
Thank you. So as I was speaking with Miss Malisha about the reason for the stop and the vehicle, after Deputy Danville finished his contact with Miss Tierra, he approached on the passenger side of Miss Malisha's vehicle, where then he observed two children in the vehicle, one infant being held in someone's arms unrestrained, and then a second juvenile about toddler age that was in a booster seat without a seat belt. Then I returned to the vehicle. I ran the information of both the drivers and the vehicles, issued my citations, and while providing the paperwork to Miss Malisha, occupants of the vehicle became confrontational and aggressive, began shouting over our instructions, and after they received the paperwork, they left without restraining the children in proper car seats. Just to note, the car seat for the juvenile, for the infant, was in the trunk of the vehicle, and the entire first vehicle was full. However, there was only a driver in the second vehicle to the rear, so they could have made room for the infant in another vehicle or another occupant. And that's it, Your Honor.
Okay. And then I think it would make more sense here for Deputy Danville to just pick up your narrative, and then I'll give the Coulters an opportunity to respond.
Yes, Your Honor. I was sitting in the passenger seat of Deputy Kaminsky's patrol vehicle while he was running stationary radar at that 6-7 mile marker median. I was reading some notes in my lap when I heard a loud audio, clear, consistent tone of the rear radar of a vehicle coming at a high rate of speed. That's when I looked in the passenger side rear mirror and saw one set of headlights coming at us. But as the vehicles went past us, it was two vehicles, both in the left lane, and then both vehicles were extremely close to each other. When Deputy Kaminsky switched to front radar, there was still that same clear, consistent tone of 90 miles per hour coming up on the radar screen. That's when Deputy Kaminsky got behind the vehicle. I observed both vehicles weaving in between the left lane and the right lane, not fully committing to the right lane, but staying more to the left lane. And then eventually the silver Escape had moved over. And that's when I was able to get the plate for the Ford Explorer, giving that to dispatch while we were still behind the vehicles. I observed the silver Escape not to have a plate, but ended up having a temporary plate in the back of the window. Vehicles end up both moving to the right lane. We called for a second car, and that's why we waited to initiate the traffic stop closer to the 67 mile marker. So that way we could have a tribal police officer who was sitting at the 129th overpass to assist us with this traffic stop, because we weren't sure if this was a road rage incident or what exactly was all going on based off of their driving and what was going on while they're driving down the road with them being so close like that. When we initiated our emergency overhead lights for that traffic stop, both vehicles had pulled over. I had made contact with Tierra Coulter, and Deputy Kaminsky had made contact with Miss Malaysia Coulter. Miss Malaysia had exited her vehicle, and Deputy Kaminsky had told her to go back to the vehicle. I made contact with Miss Tierra. She refused to give me her driver's license. She did hand me some paperwork for the vehicle. She said that she had just purchased it and everything would be in there, and I could find her by running the vehicle. I did end up finding her in Lean by running the vehicle and could confirm her identity based off of her NLET's photograph as her being the driver of that vehicle. After I was done making contact with Tierra Coulter, I had walked up to the passenger side of Malaysia Coulter's Explorer. That's when I observed in the passenger rear compartment of that Explorer, there was 4 individuals in that back spot. There was a small child that was seatbelted behind the driver's seat. There was a very young child between 3 to 4 years old in a booster seat that was asleep that did not have a seatbelt on. And then there was a young adult sitting in the passenger rear seat behind the passenger seat that was holding onto a very small young toddler, and she actually had a diaper bag covering up that child, so I couldn't see her initially. And then in the rear compartment of that Explorer was a child seat that would be proper for that toddler, but it was not secured in the vehicle, and it was like upside down in that rear hatch. I had asked Miss Malaysia Coulter to secure that infant, and she stated that she wasn't going to, and that the child was not secure because it was teething.
Okay. So we'll start with you, Tiara. You just have the one citation. What do you wish to tell me?
Well, first off, I did not refuse to give my ID. I actually told them I did not have it on me, and I was waiting for it to come in the mail. So I did not have it on me. I just had my temporary paper, which wouldn't show a picture of me, so it wouldn't matter. And then also, with the thing, we were not on the side of each other. We were actually following behind each other. So she was in the front of me, I was in the back of her. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Nothing as to your speeding citation.
Oh, what am I supposed to say about it?
Well, ma'am, you said you wish to fight that ticket. You heard the testimony against you. Do you wish to have any testimony for you of why I shouldn't find you responsible on the speeding citation?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what else I can say other than I know I don't believe I was going no 90 miles up in no 70. Even when they came to my car, I told them that. Me and my sister was on this. They said that we were following and weaving in and out. My sister was in front of me the whole time. How are we weaving in and out if she's in the front of me?
Ma'am, do you have a speed
that you would
wish to say you were going?
They came to my car aggressive. I didn't be aggressive back to them. I just told them that they were being a dickhead.
Okay. So, ma'am, you don't know how fast you were going. That's your testimony.
I did not know at the moment that if I was going over, I did not intentionally go over. No, I did not know.
All right. And then, Ms. Malaysia, I would switch over to you. Any testimony that you wish to give as to any one of the three of your citations?
Yeah, so as far as the speeding goes, newer vehicles that the speed is just automatically just fast. I don't believe that I was going over 90. Also, I wasn't the car that they pulled over. Only reason why I pulled over is because my sister, she's still nervous driving on the highway. So I wasn't speeding because she don't even go fast on the highway. And
exactly.
We weren't weaving in and out. She was behind me, trailing me because she doesn't drive on the highway. As far as my infant daughter goes, she was teething, and we had just took her out of the car seat. As far as the one that was in the middle, he's saying that she was sleeping. She was not sleeping. She was up, and she was whining, crying because they're terrified of the police. So I could see her taking off her seat, though. As far as the other toddler go that was in the seat, he was properly in his seat, so I don't understand why I even received a citation for them. But yes, I definitely am willing to fight all three citations because I don't feel like I know for sure that we weren't going 90. I mean, I guess I would assume responsibility for my toddler not being in her seatbelt because she was teething, and my daughter has kidney problems and all type of stuff, so she's a very whiny baby. So I will assume responsibility for that. But as far as the seatbelt on the other toddler, no, she took her seatbelt off because she was scared because they were very aggressive when they came to the car. The one that was on my passenger side, he was talking to my 13-year-old daughter, and like he was just being real rude. Nobody was even being rude to him. He was just, like she said, being a dickhead. Yeah, very rude. The guy that was on my driver's side, very pleasant. He was very nice. I was actually kind of like puzzled because I didn't understand why they were walking to my vehicle. And I got out of the vehicle because they pulled my sister over and I wanted to see what was going on, so it wasn't like I was getting out the vehicle to be confrontational or anything in that nature.
All right. So, and I don't mean this for Tiara. All you have is a speeding citation. I find it's pretty clear here. I would find you responsible. You did not give an alternate speed. You did not know how fast you're going. The officer's testimony, two of them, is not only were you hit with stationary radar, but you were hit with moving radar, and you were paced, all at the speed that they've identified. So, I mean, that's sort of as clear as it gets. As to you, Miss Malaysia Coulter, I wouldn't have let you leave the scene.
Exactly.
No, ma'am. I would have charged you with reckless driving, and I would not have let you leave the scene with a baby in someone's arms when there was a car seat in the trunk. You cannot drive around like that. You are clearly in violation of these laws.
Listen. So the reason why was, one, that she was teething, and then my daughter was getting ready to change her diaper. I'm driving. I can't change a poopy diaper if I'm operating.
Doesn't matter the reason. You can't drive down the road, especially at speed like that. The reason why there's laws for car seats, and especially for infants, let alone toddlers, is if you get into a car wreck, they have very little chance of surviving that car wreck if they're not in a car seat.
Sir,
that's why it's a law.
I wasn't even going fast. I wasn't going fast.
Like yes, you were, man. You're going 90 and a 70. So listen to me.
So do you have a newer vehicle?
The time for arguing is over. I would find you responsible on all three of your citations. Now, ladies, you both have a right, because you had a contested hearing, to say, I don't agree with what just happened in there. I wish to go to formal hearing. Formal hearing is in front of the district court judge with the prosecutor. But to go to formal hearing, you must do two things. One is you must ask for that within 7 days of today's date. That window of opportunity for you to contest this finding further closes after 7 days. And two, you must come in and ask for that in writing, because you will have to post a bond in the same cash amount as the fines on the tickets. And so I'll ask you one at a time. Do you understand your rights on appeal? Tiara?
No, I don't.
Okay. And Malaysia?
No, I don't.
All right. So I said two things. One is ask for the formal hearing within 7 days of today's date. Tiara, do you understand what those words mean?
Please don't insult my intelligence. I heard what you said.
Okay, but I have to break it down further because you said you don't understand.
Right, do you understand? Because you're talking fast, so I need you to slow down a little bit, because this is my first time going to court. Do you understand?
And that's Ms. Coulter, or Tiara, I'll start with you. That's why I'm saying we will go through it again. There's two things you would have to do.
Right, but you asked me an insulting question is what I'm telling you. Please don't insult my intelligence when you're asking me. Just ask me if I understand. That's it.
Right.
Not those words.
Well, I did, ma'am, and you said you did not understand. So I'll ask you, Tiara Coulter. Two things. First is that you must take action within 7 days of today's date. Do you understand that part?
Yeah, I heard you.
All right. The second thing is you must come in and ask for the formal hearing in writing, because you'll have to post a bond, a cash bond, in the same amount as the fines. Do you understand what I mean by that?
No, I have a question. If I live in Kalamazoo and this is in Allegan, how do I come in person? Can I get it in like email or something?
No, ma'am. You would actually have to come in to the Allegan County Courthouse with the same amount of money that the fines and cost is on this citation.
Well, it doesn't tell me no cost on my ticket.
Okay, and that's why I said I'll explain it. You would have to come in with $130 and post that as a bond to guarantee your appearance at the formal hearing. So the two things you must do is within a week, you have to come in here with $130, leave that with the court.
And what if I can't do that within a week?
What's that?
I say, and what if I can't do the money within a week?
Then you cannot have a formal hearing. You are stuck with my finding here today.
Oh, well,
and then Miss Malaysia, you would have to do that for each one of the 3 tickets that you would wish to contest further at formal hearing. Do you now understand?
Listen, I am a single mother. I'm a single mother. I work 12-hour shifts. I'm not going to be able to come in within a week. I'll pay my costs, but I will be taking this matter to our Kalamazoo News, because I don't feel like we were speeding. We were not speeding at all. How we speeding and she trailing behind me? That don't even make sense. I will admit to my baby being held. Yeah, okay. If you guys
Okay.
want to,
And then
whatever
we were
with that,
not even
that's
going to the
fine.
same place.
I will
We were not
reiterate for
even.
you, neither of you provided a speed you thought you were going. You just both said you weren't going, you didn't think you were going 90.
I
But what I'm
understand that.
telling
From
Can
the
I
you
say
is,
officers is
something?
clear.
Can I say
But we are
something though?
all set. No, ma'am. We are all set for what we need
Well,
to
what
do
is your
here
because
name,
today.
he said
I'm
that
gonna
I could have
release
put
parties.
somebody in my
All
car,
right,
but at the end of the day, I couldn't put
ma'am.
nobody in my car because
We're all
we were
set.
not going to the same
Goodbye.
place.
Thank you, officers.
what is?
Thank you, Your Honor.